This is Reforming on Air. I'm your host, Geneveivee Ross. Welcome back to Reforming on Air. I'm really excited to have you with us today. We have Melanie, the founder of Truvani, with us, and I'm so excited to unpack everything from product to branding to female entrepreneurship. I love Truvani products. They're in the studios. Our users, like our clients, love them. Our instructors are obsessed with them. And I'm really excited to dig into how you were able to make this happen, because everybody has an idea to create a product, which a product is a lot harder than a service. Like, I'm just creating a service, right? This is a product. It's a lot harder. Everything from packaging, taste. So I'm really excited to jump in and, give us all your years. You were just saying 20 years of wisdom. So welcome. I'm so excited. I just want to start. Tell me about Truvani, how it started, where it started, whose idea was it, when, everything.
Who, what, where, when, and why.
Yeah.
So I have to first say that you have explained my company to me before. You probably didn't realize you did this, and in a way that has always stuck with me in my mind.
Oh, I did?
I think we were collaborating on an event together, and you explained to this partner that this was the Rolls Royce of protein. I don't know if I'm hoping you said that.
No, I did. Yes. Yeah. Because when I see protein, and I don't want to shit talk anyone, but it's always these really gross masculine bottles that are this big.
Yes.
And you need the muscles to lift them up.
The tubs.
And it's gross. It just does not look appealing to me. So yes.
So I love it. So now that's how when people ask me, I'm like, we are the Rolls Royce of Truvani. Hopefully, I know that's trademarked so we can say it on your podcast. But we really wanted to create something that stood out. So as I said to you, I know we're trying to get to the hard-hitting facts, so you'll have to keep me on course. But I have been an entrepreneur for 20 years now. I started my first business in college with my husband.
What was that?
We have in common.
Just quickly tell me that business.
It was a company called Custom Greek Threads.
Okay.
Now, my understanding is you did not grow up in the U.S., correct?
No.
So this might not be something that you personally experienced, but here in the U.S., we have something called the Greek fraternity and sorority system.
Yes.
You might have seen it in movies.
In all the movies.
In movies. So I was not a part of Greek life, nor was my husband, but we had a lot of friends that were. And they were all buying these sweatshirts and tote bags and T-shirts that had embroidered letters on them. And my husband is always great at spotting opportunities. And he asked his sister who had bought one, how much did you pay for that sweatshirt? And she said, $75. And he's looking at it. It's like, this is a Gildan or a Champion sweatshirt that you can buy for $6.
Yeah.
And so anyways, we had this idea to start selling those on our campus and beyond. And we built a website. And this was 20 years ago. And so we had to learn everything about how to run an online business. So we had Google AdWords for dummies. We had Facebook it was just starting to become a thing. There were no Facebook ads.
Yeah.
But that business was really important because we had to learn everything about online marketing. Yeah. And we took that information and we've now parlayed it into several businesses, because once you learn how to drive traffic, optimize a website, build a social media audience, it's something that you can transfer. And we did. We had Custom Greek Threads. We, within 3 years, were the largest Greek apparel company in the nation. We we did SEO, search engine optimization.
So your guys' first business did better, because I love to ask that, because my husband and I also work together and we do businesses together. And our first business sucked. We owned a bodega.
Oh my
gosh,
amazing.
Proper bodega in Jersey City that we would have to close the door at night and lock it. So I love to ask that. So you started with that, and when did you close that?
Yes, and I will say, I think the grittier the first business is, the better.
Yeah.
I remember we went to classes during the day, and then in the afternoon we were done, we'd go to this warehouse we had in Santa Ana, California, which is not a super nice area. And I would cut the delta, the gamma, every letter.
Yeah.
I'd spray adhesive. I'd put it on the garment. My husband would then hoop the sweatshirt. We had one embroidery machine that we leased because we couldn't afford to buy it outright. And then he would sew on the delta gamma. But yeah, there was amazing margins. We didn't have to have any inventory because we would just order things. It's like when American Apparel was big. It was up in LA, we'd place the order. The next day it would be there.
That's really cool.
But we really cut our teeth and learned a lot from that first business.
And how long did you do that?
That we did for about 6 years. We started Luxury Monograms, which was a customized home decor business that used the same facility. So we were customizing and embroidering pillows or placemats or napkins, tote bags, things like that. We started that about 4.5 years in, but we exited both those businesses about 6 years in. We were kind of tired of manufacturing and having a warehouse space. We wanted to move to New York, and our facility was in California. So then we transitioned out of manufacturing goods and we started creating online courses. I was the face of it. We did it for women entrepreneurs specifically.
That's really cool.
And we took all the strategies that we learned from those businesses and turned them into material that other women business owners could use to scale their own businesses.
That's amazing. So when did Truvani come into all of this?
So then Truvani came into it. We did the online education business for about 5 years and just got the itch. I love physical products.
Yeah.
I love to shop. I am a consumer at heart. Yeah. And I just think physical products have such an opportunity to make an impact in people's lives. So we were actually consulting for a supplement company on Amazon, and they were selling supplements. And to be honest with you, they were really mediocre. Yeah. They were not a great product. They didn't have a brand, but they were selling well. And you can actually see, like on Amazon, the sales histories and different predictions and trends. And we saw this just boom that was starting to happen with supplements. So this was 7 years ago. And we thought, that's a space we've never been in before. I bet we could do something really interesting and better. Do it better. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. So we reached out to a couple of friends. One of them was my friend Derek, that we had wanted to do something in the physical product space. He'd never had a physical product business before. And he said, we should also talk to my friend Vani because she knows everything about ingredients. So Vani Hari, the food babe, he's like, let's bring her on and she can really help us make something unlike anything else that's kind of in this health and food and nutrition space.
What was the first product? Did you start with one or multiple? What was like the OG product?
Yes. So I always love on podcasts like this when people like get into the nitty gritty and tell you like the basics. So with Truvani, what we did is we each put in $10,000 and we used that
worked out
to
well.
kind of build the original. Because, I think that's also really important with CPG or consumer packaged goods. A lot of people think the first thing you need to do is go find an investor. And I really try to encourage people not to do that. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes you need to, or you have an opportunity. But the more money you take on, the faster you take it on, usually the less ownership of your business that you maintain.
And I think also for, just myself looking back, the more you put in, feel the burn, the more you're fueled to work harder.
Absolutely.
Because you're like, I have to pay this off, really, like this is taking a lot of my savings, a lot of my like livelihood. It's not an option for it not to work. Whereas if you have an investor, you're like, it's got to work because I got to pay them back, but you're not feeling the burn.
Yeah, we were bootstrapped exclusively, or meaning self-funded for the first 7 years of the business. We took on our first minority investment 2 weeks ago.
Amazing. Congrats. That's so exciting.
Which is so fun. But I really always try to encourage other entrepreneurs, particularly ones that do want to create a product, like you were saying, that you can get creative. And there's a lot of benefits to getting creative with your budget and how you do something. So we each put in $10,000 and then
into this OG product.
Into the business.
Okay.
So getting a website up, we needed to place a purchase order, of course.
What was this product?
It was a turmeric supplement.
Okay.
So Vani had recently, she was taking a turmeric supplement. There's lots of great health benefits to it. And it had just been purchased by a bigger company and they had changed the ingredients. And so she was like, I want to make one that has just what we need in it, nothing else, no weird fillers, no junk. So we made this turmeric supplement and we were going to launch it on Kickstarter, but Kickstarter denied our campaign because at that time you weren't allowed to have supplements. I don't know if that's still true. So we just pre-sold it. We decided to put up a website, email her audience, do some ads, and we placed where we did the pre-sale. It was actually, unlike most of the stories of entrepreneurship in my life, it was an instant success. We saw an incredible response. People just really wanted stuff without the crap in it. And so we used that pre-order to place our first purchase order with their manufacturer. And
that's really
that
cool.
was the story of the
and
first
so that
product.
it was supplement. How long did you do that for before you expanded, and what was next?
Yes.
Because that's very different to what it is today.
Yeah, so we still actually do have a very core line of supplements. If you go
you
to our
do?
website
Okay.
or you go to Amazon, we have
I feel like
multivitamins,
the treats and the yummies and that's blown up so big that I didn't even like research or use that, because when I think of you, I think of your delicious bars that are like, that's maybe it's because I'm pregnant. I always have one in my bag.
Yes.
But I'm like, for me, I'm like, this is like the coolest thing. But okay, so you do the supplements, and then
we launched our turmeric supplement, and then we decided we were trying to look in terms of what we create with Truvani and products. We're always looking for what are opportunities for but everyday use that is going to be, we're going to be able to clean it up, make it simpler, take the junk out of it. We're not trying to invent like the next, chickpea. We're trying to do stuff that people are going to be using every day, because that's how we're going to make the biggest impact on people's health. So I really, really, really wanted to do a protein powder. When we launched Truvani, we did a supplement. We actually had a bone broth powder for a while. We launched collagen, and we wanted to do protein powder, but it took us almost 2 years to develop it, because we could not find a source for the pea protein that passed all of our ingredient tests. So everything that goes into Truvani is third-party tested, each single ingredient. It's tested at the source, it's tested when it comes into the manufacturers, and it's tested after it's actually like gone through production. And pea protein is notoriously difficult to find a good organic source that is testing for all the different contaminants, the glyphosates, everything. So it took us 2 years until we found a source that actually passed all the Truvani standards to be able to be used in a Truvani product.
And I'm going to come back to this, but my brain, I'm just so excited. I want to know, that is a big thing, but how do you find the manufacturers you trust at the same time?
Yes.
For anyone who's listening that wants to open like a product, how do you find those manufacturers? Because like everyone's like, oh, just go on Alibaba. But for food, you can't. So how did you find someone that you trusted to uphold those standards?
So I don't know if I should actually admit this, but I'm going to. So we started ordering just a bunch of different supplements off of Amazon and looking to see if we could see on the container or on the materials who manufactured them. And then what we did is we put together this big spreadsheet and we started interviewing and researching all of those facilities and figuring out, did they have, there's different certifications and different practices that we wanted to make sure we had for manufacturing, for all these different ways, the workplace. And we narrowed them down, and then you start having meetings and talking with them about, first of all, their minimum order quantity. That's probably the biggest issue.
When an entrepreneur, you hear
MOQ.
that, what is it? And you're just like, oh.
If you hear people talking about MOQs, they're looking at what is the minimum order I have to place to be able to do this. So for us, it wasn't just an MOQ conversation. It was more about, we want to make products like this. You're going to have to think outside the box. If you look at almost every single protein powder, it has what are called flow agents. So those are gums, those are emulsifiers. They're not really in that product to make the product better for the end consumer. A lot of times it makes the powder be able to run faster through the machines. The faster you can produce the product, the less amount of time, the cheaper it is to run, the easier it is. So for us, we took all the emulsifiers out of the protein powder. We tested them, we did product development. We didn't think they needed to be in there for a consumer who was going to mix it in a shaker cup or put it in a smoothie. But the manufacturer, they had to go through all these different, I promise I'll circle back to, interviewed all these people. But we had to find a manufacturer that could actually problem solve changing how the machines were run because of how we wanted to formulate the product. So we had a lot of conversations until we found someone who was willing to work with us on the basic logistics of what we were trying to produce, and also was open to our mission and supporting it through the way that he was going to be developing and creating the products with us.
Perfect. So you did you found your manufacturer, you started with the supplements, and then it was the protein powder. And the first protein powder that ever came out, what was that? It was plain vanilla.
So it was actually chocolate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we came out with chocolate first, and then we had to do some more work to develop the vanilla. Our flavors are truly, truly a labor of love, and I'm excited to talk to you about these newer ones here, because we do not use natural flavors. And this is something I love to talk about and shed light on, because when you look at any food products and the flavoring agents, you see natural flavors.
Yeah.
What's wrong with natural flavors? That sounds like
Natural.
orange, like
Yeah.
it comes from an orange.
Yeah.
So a little bit more known in kind of the clean beauty industry is that you really need to be careful of the term fragrances on
Yes.
cosmetics because it's a proprietary term. It basically means we can kind of use any combination of chemicals and we don't have to tell you what they are or how many or even like how they were derived.
Yeah.
Like for something to be an organic flavor, there are more limitations on how that flavor could be produced. But when you see a natural flavor, I don't even want to tell you, there's like just Google it. There's some crazy stuff
that are in there that you see natural and your head's like, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, you don't know what it is or where it came from. And a lot of times, in my opinion, it's not something that I would care to have in my products. But just for me, like the whole thing behind Truvani is you want to have transparency and truth in what's in your products. So if we would never use a natural flavor.
I'm like a touchy person. So if someone's looking on video, I want to look. So I want to see, okay, I mean, there's like hardly anything in here.
Yes, if you look at the very top, it's easy to see.
I understand what everything is.
That was
No, I'm looking at the hard part at the bottom.
The bottom, yes. So
like I know what all of this is.
vanilla took us a little bit longer to formulate the taste properly because with a lot of subtle flavors, it's very hard to do without using natural or artificial flavors, which are a lot more potent and a lot more chemically malleable to produce a certain effect. So all of our proteins, the flavor comes from the actual ingredient. So you're holding our lemon cookie protein.
Yes.
And that's
so
a seasonal
I see
flavor.
here that the second ingredient is after the pea protein, which that's what you would want the first ingredient to be in your protein powder.
Yeah.
Is the lemon extract.
Yes. And so this is going back to your claim of the Rolls Royce of protein.
Yeah.
So our lemon cookie actually has lemon extract from Sorrento lemons. So if you scour the world for the most premium lemons, or you think about like the most premium lemons, you're probably going to think Italy. So we're not just going and like finding some lemons grown just anywhere and creating an extract. This is a like gourmet level lemon extract from Italy.
That's really cool.
That we're using for our lemon protein. So that's something, and the strawberry extract actually comes from the same supplier in Italy. So we're looking to create flavors, we're looking to create products that don't have anything that you wouldn't recognize, like you just said, but also what is the best possible ingredient?
Yeah.
So for us, we have had hundreds of ideas for products that we wanted to create that we have not, because if we can't do them to the Truvani standard, we don't create them.
Yeah.
A lot of other companies or some other companies might
They'll
say,
do like cookies and cream or like not even that. Like I'm trying to think of something like bubble gum or like.
Yes.
And if you can't get that natural, it's
Yes. But there's, first and foremost, I really do love business.
Yeah.
And so for me, I know that there's something to a company saying, hey, the numbers make sense. There's a market demand for X product. We're going to do whatever we need to do to make X product. For us, it's a little bit different of a product development where we'll identify an opportunity. But if we can't make it to the Truvani standard, we just don't make that product.
So after the proteins came in, you did chocolate, then you did vanilla.
Yep.
How many flavors currently? I know you have like limited editions and that.
Yes.
But what is the standard of how many flavors you have right now?
Yes. So don't quote me, actually. I think we have 10 flavors currently. We do have some that are seasonal that rotate in and out and some that we bring back. But we've really seen such an incredible response to this product that for us having new flavors to highlight are a great way to bring awareness and attention back to the brand. Even if someone's interested in the idea of lemon cookie, but they come to the website and they feel safer buying a vanilla or a chocolate, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just having those interesting, like I like to produce every single flavor as its own campaign. It has its own story, it has its own look. And I think it just keeps that relevancy for people. Like I use our protein powder every day, but I don't use the same flavor. Like,
Oh, you change it up?
oh, always. Yeah. Based upon the season.
Or what you feel like on the day. So protein powder, then what came next?
So protein powder, then we had the collagen already. So we started with marine collagen. We now have marine and also collagen peptides, which is a bovine source of collagen. And then we really, really wanted to get into bars. But like most product development at Truvani, it took a while and it took some failures.
Yeah.
I think we worked on the bars for 2.5 years before we came out with the first one, which was chocolate.
Okay.
So we just launched one bar. We tried a lot of different variations of like granola versus these are date-based snack bars. So it's interesting because a lot of people call these protein bars. You're welcome to. Each one has around 7 grams of protein, so it's not going to be like a normal protein bar
Yeah.
where they're saying, 18, 20 grams. These were never intended to just be a protein bar. They were meant to be a real food based bar. So they're primarily nut and date based. So they are sweetened by dates. They're sweetened by a little bit of maple syrup, but they've got just a really incredible nutritional composition between
Which
the
one
fats,
is your
the fiber.
favorite?
So I brought you my favorite.
Wait, but I want to do a fun game.
Let's do a game.
I want to either close my eyes and you break off a piece and then I have to guess no, actually, no,
flavor?
that's stupid. No, that's stupid. You have to guess the flavor.
Guess the flavor?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I'll just hand it to you, take a little bite, and then see if you can identify.
Which flavor it is.
Let's do 3.
Let's
but
do
no,
3.
don't look which one.
No, I'm going to open it for you.
Okay, and then I'm going to pick the 3.
And then you can mix it up. I feel like you should have had a blindfold or something.
No, I trust you to keep your eyes closed, okay?
I will.
I know which one my favorite is, and I'll tell you after, but...
Yeah, but the bars took us a long time to get right. We made a lot of really, really bad bars, and we developed some in the kitchen that tasted so good, but looking at this from a business perspective, we had to find a bar recipe that had a decent shelf life.
Hold on. I'm going to open it and I'm going to hand it to you to take a bite.
Okay.
I'm not going to touch it with my hands. That's gross. But I'm going to, okay. Here we go at the bottom. Here we go. Okay.
Okay.
Which one is that?
Okay.
Because there are a lot.
This one has cacao nibs.
Uh-huh.
So I think this is our original chocolate brownie. You gonna tell me if I'm right or not?
It is. It is the original chocolate brownie. And I want to take a taste too. I'll take from the bottom end.
I'm gonna keep my eyes closed until you tell me.
Yeah, you were right. That is it. You were correct. That's my favorite one.
This is great because I was hungry.
That's my favorite one. I picked my favorite.
That's your favorite. Okay. My favorite's the cookie dough, but I'm a chocolate person. I love. Speaking of Rolls Royce, when we sourced the chocolate chips for these bars,
Where are they from?
I don't know where they're from, but we tasted all these different types of chocolate chips. And the woman who helps us with the product development, she said, I found this source and they are the Rolls Royce of chocolate chips. So I guess Rolls Royce is kind of a common theme. Okay. Okay, based upon the nose of this one, this is either going to be oatmeal chocolate chip or it's going to be snickerdoodle. It's going to depend. If there's chocolate or not.
I was going to say, it's really hard to make a healthy product that tastes good.
This is snickerdoodle.
That is, let me look, I'm blind. Yeah, that's snickerdoodle. I mean, I feel like you're going to get them all, so you can open your eyes.
Okay. If I can't guess them, that would be embarrassing. But that is what you said is paramount. It's huge. When we created Truvani with the protein powders, the bars, anything that does have a flavor to it, we did not want to compromise on, oh, this tastes healthy.
Yeah.
Like I used to, before Truvani, I had 2 protein powders. I had one that tasted really good, but I did not love the ingredients. And I had one that had great ingredients, but I had to like force myself to
like digest it, to eat it, yeah.
Because it just did not taste good. And with Truvani, we want you to be able to have products that you actually enjoy. Like I love food. I love treats. I love being creative in the kitchen.
That brownie one I like because I feel like I'm eating brownie. Like the consistency, the texture. I feel like I'm eating cake.
Yeah. Oh, they're so good. I bring them for my kids.
The fatty
every
in
day.
me is trying to think how I can now make the vanilla protein, put it in one of those ninja bullets, make the ice cream, heat that bar up.
The bars, we've been doing
I'm trying to think, I'm like, how am I going to do this?
The bars, I do the lemon cookie protein and I mix in the lemon bar with it. Oh my gosh. It's so good.
So then you did the bars. So what is, out of all your products, the best selling across the board?
The proteins are the best selling currently.
Which one?
The chocolate and vanilla.
Okay.
Pretty much neck and neck. Yeah, because it depends if you look at, our wholesale division, our Amazon, our direct to consumer. But chocolate and vanilla are best sellers for sure.
And the chocolate and vanilla, which area code? Which city? What city buys the most?
City do we buy? I would have to look at reports for that. I mean, you're asking.
Who would you say is your biggest market? Like, who would you say, like, Miami, New York, LA? Who would you say are your biggest men, women?
Oh, definitely women.
Okay.
We have almost like I would say 98% women are customers. And that was intentional also because from an actual mission standpoint, it's really interesting because men are the largest sector of protein powder consumers. However, women are more likely than men to be protein deficient.
Yeah.
So we knew that protein was something that could actually really service the health of women. And so when I was designing the packaging, that was one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted it to feel appealing and approachable to a woman versus like you were talking about, a big tub.
You know those black plastic tubs, like my ex-boyfriend in college, like you have to like lag it around.
Yes, and I always hated that in the kitchen too, because no matter how much of the powder you used, it took up the same amount of space.
Yes.
But yes, we never wanted anyone to have to compromise on the taste of it just because it had great ingredients. I mean, the better the ingredients, ultimately, the better the taste should be.
Yeah. So you got to get back to me on what's the best location. What would you say if you had to just take a wild guess? Where would you say majority of your consumers?
Oh my gosh, it changes all the time. But I'm not trying to skate around your question. It's funny because Vani is based in North Carolina, and we have an abnormally large customer base in North Carolina for the size of the city and the state, because the population, because she has such a strong following in that area where she lives. I mean, New York's is very big for us. You know, we definitely have the health meccas of the city are big. Dallas is big. Any big metropolitan areas.
Was there ever a time when you got an order in and someone called you and they were like, holy someone just ordered this from Shanghai, or like somewhere like Boise, Idaho? Like was there ever a time where you like looked at a report or something and you were like, that's cool?
I would say we don't have a ton of huge international business yet. We've explored it, but there's a lot of logistics that go into all of that. So most of our orders are usually domestic just because it's so expensive. A funny story is we have a lot of amazing Canadian customers that
smuggle it.
Will smuggle it. Yes. We'll buy it and then like pack their whole suitcase.
My mom does that every time she comes here from South Africa. I might say, smuggle my favorite food.
Yes. So they'll bring it in that way. And then I've heard great stories from people. I was just at a conference last week and the woman said, I just want to let you know I paid oversized or the overweight baggage fee to bring my Truvani because I wanted it so badly. And I was like, that's great.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
And was there like a moment in all of this where you were producing everything and you finally felt like, wow, like you looked at your husband, you're like, we're cool. Like we made it. Like we're cool. Like this is cool. Like what was that moment where you're like, holy this is big?
There's been a lot of moments like that. You know, it's so funny because it's true what they say, like everything feels like an overnight success when you kind of look at it from the outside. Like this is 7 years. This is 7 years of
hard
Zoom
work
calls,
and
of, you know, setting up a table at events and handing out samples and, you know, like a lot of our retailers we have now, like we got turned down multiple times. Launching in Whole Foods was a dream, you know, being able to see our products in shelf there. We launch in Target next week.
Oh my God, that's so big. That's big.
That is a huge dream to be able to. Having the products in stores is really special, even though we love wherever people want to order it. Being able to go into a store with my kids, with my husband.
And then they're like, look, Mom, that's so cool.
People come up to you or people who work at the store will come over and tell us like how much the product has helped them or changed their life. And it's just really crazy to be able to see that.
I think it's more, I mean, it's very rewarding, you know, like having a service-based business like what I do. But a product-based business, it's just like a different ball game because when you see people like out or you see your product, like it's like this really surreal, cool thing that you get to be like, it's tangible, which is really amazing.
It's true. That's I think what brought me back too.
Obviously I'm going to say what's next, but like what's next is Target.
Next.
Yeah, Target is next, but what are
Target
their products? Like what products, what is your...
Yes, so I'm very excited this summer. We are launching a line of whey proteins.
Oh, nice.
Which is huge. We've wanted to do this for 5 years.
Now, can I ask this for people that are listening that are entrepreneurs but maybe not healthies? Because for me, I am a bit of both and I'm like learning my journey. But like, what is the difference between the plant-based protein and the whey protein?
Yes, I can tell you my own explanation.
Like, no, just like super high level. Like what is the...
So plant-based proteins are coming from plants. So they're normally like Truvani protein is peas, chia seeds, pumpkin seeds. Some other plant-based proteins might use like brown rice protein. We don't use rice proteins, but that's another really common ingredient in plant proteins. Hemp seeds, things like that. Whey protein is a dairy-based protein.
Okay.
So it is actually made from dairy, from milk. And so there's two different people. Some people have a hard time digesting whey. Some people have a hard time digesting plant.
Yes.
Some people feel plant protein is a higher source or more bioavailable. Some people will tell you whey. I'm not a scientist. I can't tell you which one's better. I just know that people will have preferences for one or the other. One or the other. There we go. One or the other. And so for us, we've never been a vegan company. Like our plant-based protein is vegan, but we've had collagen, we've had a bone broth powder before. Like we've always been an ingredients company.
Yeah.
We want to make the best ingredients. And whey has just been asking to get disrupted for so long. Like usually the lowest quality protein powders you see out there are whey proteins.
Yep.
They're processed so terribly. They have awful ingredients. So we wanted to create an option for the Truvani consumer that wanted a whey option. And it took us so long to find an organic source for whey because we produce organic products whenever possible. So we finally found this beautiful multi-generational organic farm we're getting our whey protein from. We're launching 5 flavors, and I'm so excited.
I'm excited to try that because that's something like you can put in. What do you say like most people use it for? Do they drink it like neat? Do they put it in a smoothie? Like, what is the most popular way to use your
So we actually do consumer surveys around this. And for our customers, they are either putting in a smoothie or they're baking with it. And I love this because
I always see the TikToks of Truvani, everyone baking the most creative things. Yeah.
And try to think of all these fun ways. You know, you can just mix it with water or mix it with almond or oat milk or whatever you prefer. But people are usually making smoothies, which we love because we want them to be using whole food ingredients and like getting that additional nutrition and fiber. Or I love baking with it. It's just, I bake with it all the time.
On TikTok, I always see like the different unique ideas of, how.
Yeah.
What is your dream that gets you out of bed every morning? So for example, my dream is to open a reforming, and I'm going to say it, and people laugh at me all the time, and I'm like, okay, cool story, it's going to happen, is to open in Shanghai. And I don't know why I thought of Shanghai. It's so random, but I think it's because it's so random. Now I have to prove a point to myself that I can do it.
I can see it.
So RP Shanghai. So what is your unattainable, attainable, because it will be attainable.
Oh, absolutely.
What is that goal for you personally? Not for the company, not for what do you want to do that it's like so crazy to verbalize, but you're putting it into the universe that it is going to happen?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I can tell you very easily. So my goal is to grow Truvani into an incredibly impactful brand. I'm not just looking to have a couple of products. Like this is a lifestyle brand. We want to be very impactful in size and in scope and reach of the products. And I would eventually love to be able to personally invest in other female-owned businesses that are making a better products, making better opportunities, whether it's in any sort of sector. I'm very interested in supporting, whether it's through on boards or angel investing. I really think that's going to be my next chapter.
That's really exciting. And for everyone that wants to purchase the product, we know it's in Whole Foods. We know it's going to be in Target soon. Where else?
So you can find it on our website. You can find it on Amazon. We're in Sprouts nationwide. We're in Walmart nationwide, which is really exciting because not everybody lives near an Air One, which we are an Air One also if you're in the LA area. But most retailers, we're now in like select Kroger's and those like bigger banner chains that have different names. But Target is the big retail launch this summer.
That's really exciting.
Yeah, 4 flavors.
At which Target is going to be the opening one? Do you know?
It's almost nationwide, so it's like their top, I think, 1,400 stores.
That's really exciting. Okay, well, I'm very impressed by you. I've always followed like your story. I love the way you hold yourself, the way you present your business. I'm just inspired by it personally, and so I was so happy you could be here. And I'm really excited to see how Truvani is going to grow and evolve to even more. I know it is. It's going to be, because it already is huge. I see it everywhere. So I'm really excited for everyone that hasn't already interacted with your product to taste it, to engage with it. Even the packaging, it's just so, it's not cheap packaging. Like everything is so like curated and carefully thought out that
it is a lot of love gone into these babies.
They're beautiful. So aesthetically and taste-wise too.
Inside and out.
So I'm really excited that you were here and you were able to share your journey, and I'm excited to see where it goes because I know it's gonna...
Available in Reforming Pilates nationwide.
Yeah, it is. No, literally. It's in the Miami Beach. Do you know how quickly people take those?
Really?
Our desk girl has to say, one per person. No, she has to say, guys,
Oh my God.
let's not be like, let's literally like not be animals here, like one per person. Like, because people will just try and put it in.
I can't tell you how many people I've met that say, oh, you own Truvani. I tried it at Reforming Pilates and now I buy it at Whole Foods or I buy it XYZ.
Yeah. Like, our instructors love it.
This is the beauty. Like, you're creating incredible value in what you're doing. You're allowing us to support that experience for your clients in studio. And it's just a win-win for everyone.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited. And I will also make a confession that whenever I do go to the studio and it is there, I take a lot for myself personally.
You should. You're growing a human.
I take a bunch for myself, the brownie bars. I take them and I put them in my bag. So yeah, thank you for that. And I'm really excited for the whey protein.
It's going to be great. It tastes so good. I brought you some samples.
Oh, goody. Oh, you did? Oh, that's fancy. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Your socials.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find us on Instagram, Truvani, at Truvani. We're on TikTok as well. And you can find me mostly on Instagram at Melanie Duncan 77 because Melanie Duncan 7 was taken. So Melanie Duncan 77.
Yeah. Thanks so much for listening. You can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or you can watch this on YouTube.